Hello, I'm Jamila Musayeva, an international etiquette consultant, author of etiquette books and pre-recorded online etiquette courses. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about hat etiquette. In particular, we're going to look at different types of hats, my personal hat collection, just a few pieces, as well as what is the proper etiquette of wearing a hat indoors and outdoors. So to start this video, I want to first introduce you to different types of hats. There's actually a wider selection or wider variety of hats. There are different names assigned to each different type of hat depending on its type, on its brim, on its material, where it's coming from. So I can't obviously cover all different kinds of hats in this video, and I've narrowed down my selection to the most fashionable kind of hats that you probably might have seen lately in inauguration, as well as just generally in fashion shows, as well as throughout history at a lot of different royal events. So the hats that we most often see are the wide brim hats that could be used for sun protection as well as decoration for a given event in order to upscale a look. So you can see someone wearing a wide brim hat, say to the beach, that is made of a straw or some kind of a material that's protective from the sun, and then you might see someone wear a wide brim hat made of cashmere or wool to say a fashion event somewhere in Paris in fall or winter. So a large selection of hats actually fall under this category. A more rare or unique kind of a hat that you see from fashion hats is a pillbox hat that you probably saw when I showed in my last video when we were analyzing Melania's Trump outfit for the inauguration. I mentioned the pillbox hat that was introduced by Jackie K, or rather not introduced, but rather made it more familiar to the public, as well as more popularized as an item of glamour and chicness. So a pillbox hat is a smaller hat that sits right on the back of your crown. So it's not a wide brim, but it's rather just covering or decorating the top of your head. So if you have bangs, they're out in the front, so you can really frame your head with that pillbox hat. So Jackie K was one of the first ladies that really brought this hat, so to speak, into fashion, and ever since we have seen women wear it from time to time. Though I would say, like, lately I haven't seen a lot of women wear a pillbox hat necessarily. Another type of hat from the decorative hats that is rather forgotten, and I haven't seen anyone wear it really. I hope it's going to make its comeback one day because I find it very cute, but it was something that was super popular in the 1920s, but then fashion has forgotten about it, or maybe it hasn't and is just waiting for the right moment to reoccur. But it's definitely something that women used to wear a lot outdoors, and it was part of their attire on a daily basis in the 1920s. And you can see this being shown in Downton Abbey TV series. So if you're watching it, you probably have seen what I'm talking about, and if not, I'm going to put some pictures up here so you can see it. This is another type of fat hat. I couldn't find any for this video, and I don't have any in my collection, but hopefully when it makes its comeback to fashion, I'm going to get some, because I personally really love wearing hats. I find it very convenient, particularly when it's not a fresh hair day or when you just don't know how to upscale your look. Putting a hat on really always elevates the look and makes you really stand out with your total attire. The other kind of a hat that I think has again lost its daily use, but is rather now reserved for a certain class of people, for certain events, and that is a hat type called Fascinator. And it's the kind of a hat that is usually very small. It's like an accessory. Obviously all hats are, but this is like a smaller accessory on your head, and it has usually decorations of feather or some beads or some flowers. You would probably see some pictures of royal family members or just any attendees going to a royal event or ascot or any kind of fancy glamorized event. You'd see people probably wear it. Again, this is something that is not necessarily a must per every event, but some events come with a dress code where Fascinator is a must, but other times it's just another way to elevate a total look. I don't have any Fascinator in my collection yet. Maybe I will when the time comes that I need to attend a royal ascot or maybe a royal wedding. So this was a variety of hats that are worn for decoration purposes and are fashion statement pieces. There are other kind of cultural hats or hats that are pertinent to a particular culture, but now have been brought into other cultures as well, have been, you know, reformed, redone, and in a way have been assimilated to the country, and now you see it being sold everywhere. So for example, sombrero is one of them. A Panama hat is a particular, but now you can see it being sold everywhere. Berets, which were typically very French hats, you know, these berets are so stereotypically associated with a French look that it's something when people want to recreate a French style, they put on a beret, like Emily in Paris does. And I've seen a lot of videos where a French girl actually refute the fact that, you know, wearing a beret makes you French or gives you the French look. I think media has stereotyped it in a way that people think putting a beret already makes you feel like you're in Paris. So these are different kinds of hats that are cultural but have now been assimilated in other countries and in a way become part of us as the world has become more globalized. So having said that, I want to show you a few of the hats that I have in my collection. All of them are wide-brimmed. There are some that are made of wool or cashmere and some are made of straw. So I basically wear hats for two different reasons. Either protecting myself from the sun, which is a must for me. Every time I'm out and about on the beach, if I'm going for a vacation, I always have a hat with me because I don't want to risk to get any freckles on my face, even more freckles on my face, or just another added layer of protection. And the other kind of hats that I wear is usually during winter or fall, or sometimes in spring whenever I feel like it. It's again to just, you know, elevate my total look, make me look more glamorous than I am. And I just like how hats can really make you immediately feel and look more elegant. Even if the attire by itself is very simple, adding a hat on immediately makes it look more sophisticated. So we'll start with the very first batch. There's one more coming up. So I'll be wearing some of them and telling you about them, but excuse me if I'm getting my hair messy in the process. So this is a wide brim hat, bolero maybe. So this is actually by a brand called Hermes. And okay, so this is basically how I would wear it. I went for navy color because most of my outfits are either black or navy, and I just found navy to be the color that works perfectly well with gray, black, white, navy, any monotone color, really, burgundy. So it's just a hat that goes well with any look. So this is the first hat. This is the second hat by a brand called Super Duper. It's a handmade hat. It's handcrafted in Italy. So this is how it looks. And this is how I'm going to wear it. So again, a wide brim hat, gray color, works perfectly well with a lot of different attires. On the days when I don't have my hair ready to shine, this is a great way to hide the hair, frame my face, and as well make me look more elegant. If it's safe, it saves the day. The other hat is by a brand called Sisley, actually. I think this hat reminds me a little bit of a cowboy hat. I could actually wear it for my horseback riding classes, but then I realized I have to wear a helmet, so this wasn't really didn't have much function. Though I would wear it if I'm just, you know, out in the barn just doing something, and I'll wear this for an extra layer of chicness. There is actually another hat that looks very much like a cowboy hat. It doesn't have any brand inside, so I'm not going to be able to tell you where it's coming from. This is how it looks, and I don't know if it looks good on me, but like I don't know if it's my color, but it was matching my boots, my riding boots, so I thought it would look nice with jeans and like a white t-shirt. So these were actually all wool and warm hats, and I would just wear them with a coat or with a leather jacket or with a wool sweater. So something that would it pretty much goes with anything. I wouldn't wear this to the beach, obviously. Now I have my favorite collection of straw hats. As you can tell, a lot of my hats for summer are coming with a really, really wide brim to the point that you can barely see my face. And that's the purpose of this hat, because it's going to protect me from the sun. It's really it feels like I'm sitting under the shade. So this one is by Miniso, actually Miniso. And this is how it looks. If I'm out and about at the beach and I want to read a book and don't want to see anyone, just put a hat on, put my head down, and really no one can see me and I can't see anyone. So it's perfect for introverts. And this is actually an even bigger hat. And the good thing about this hat, and I'm going to tell the brand now, it's called Eric Javintus. Actually, this is the guy that made Melania Trump's hat. I don't know. This is based in New York, and it has SPF of 50, so it has a UVF protection in it, which is my favorite hat that I wear anywhere. If I'm going to a place, to a resort that's going to have a lot of sun in it, like Seychelles or Maldives, I'm definitely going to wear this hat because it's just another extra layer of protection apart from my SPF cream. So this is it. This, I think, the hat that I've done a lot of photo sessions in, and you can really see nothing, and I don't see anything either, which is a good way to protect myself. So let's go to bat number 2. So the next hat that I'm going to show you is a straw hat, but with an added element of a bow. It's just a very interesting hat because the part where the head sits it's quite shallow, so it almost feels like it sits on top of your crown. And it's by a brand called Loewenich. I actually don't know where I got this from. I don't remember. And the bow is supposed to be sitting at the back like that. So it's like that, and then you have the back that has a little bow. This is another interesting hat that I have, and this doesn't have a top crown part. It just has the brim part, which is great if it's not too hot. The sun is kind of behind the clouds, so it's still there. It's going to really get you tanned, you get your face tanned, but it's not really that hot. So this is the hat I wear when it's not too hot, so I have just the front face protected from the sun, and the top crown part is just open. Another favorite hat of mine, which I've gotten so many compliments about and a lot of questions about where I got it. It's by a brand called Borsalino, and it's based in Milan. They have a shop just for hats. They do all different kinds of sun protection hats, decorative hats, you know, pillbox hats, any kind of hat, you name it. And this one has an extra, like, a strap that holds the hat together, so it's great if it's a windy place, and Baku is super windy. So if it's spring or summer, it could be hot, but still could be super windy. So this hat is protected with an extra strap. I can actually tie this strap around like that, make a little knot, but I don't do it. I just like the way it looks like that with a strap. So super wide brim, really great in the way it protects me from the sun. All my hats that I purchase, I'm intentionally going for a super wide brim because I think the purpose of this hat is to protect me apart, in addition to making me look elegant and sophisticated. This other is my favorite hat, and I like it because it looks so simple. It's made of a straw. It just has a really deep seating place for the crown of your head, so it's super comfortable. My head almost sinks in. It's like half of my head is in it, and then the brim is really wide. It's super lightweight, which makes it a perfect hat for traveling. So if I'm traveling, I'll always take this hat with me. It's by Loro Piano. I love the fact that it doesn't have really any, actually it has just a little mark in here, but otherwise you wouldn't be able to tell. So it looks very simple, but it's of a really great quality, and it's just very soft. Like, it feels like you're not wearing anything on your head, and great for protection too. Last but not least, I saved my favorite fedora hat for the very last hat that I want to show. My collection is bigger than what I showed in this video, but this is my ultimate favorite hat, and the reason is because it was the first picture that I took with a professional photographer that I really loved. That picture actually became the picture I used for my website when I launched it, for my first book when I had a section about the author. It's the picture that brought me a lot of luck, and I've used it in a lot of my first projects. And I'm actually in this hat, and this fedora hat, and it is by Maison Michel in Paris, and it's just a perfect combination of gray and burgundy, and just goes well with anything, with a black coat, with a white coat, with a navy. But the one I'm wearing, I think, is in a gray coat, and it just matches the two. The two look really well together. I don't know if it still looks as good as I thought it looked back in the days, but I really like this hat because it's a part of my journey to becoming an author and to becoming a public personality. So This is the last piece in this video, not in my collection. Now let's get to the last segment for today's video, and let's talk about hat etiquette. Mainly, when are we supposed to wear hats, or where are we supposed to wear hats, and when we should take them off. So the great news for women is that we have a lot more liberty than men do in terms of when we get to keep those hats on. If it's a decorative hat, it's a fashion hat that comes together with our total look, with our formal attire, we get to keep it on pretty much everywhere. At a ceremony, at a gala dinner, at a wedding, even when entering a church, if it's a fascinator, we can keep pretty much all hats on as long as it's part of our total look. The only time we could take them off is if it's a super wide brim hat and you're at a theater, or maybe you are at a dinner and your hat is on the way of two other people that are seated to both sides of you. If it's obstructing someone's view, if it's obstructing someone's space, then in that case we're supposed, out of respect, to take it off. In all other cases, we get to keep our hats on. In that way, we have a lot more liberty when it comes to keeping the hat on than men do. Men, unlike women, have to take their hats off when entering indoors. If they're entering a church, if they're entering, a dinner place, they have to take their hats off. And also, if they are greeting someone, if they are, saying hello to someone, if they're outdoors, they don't really have to take the hat off. But indoors, usually the tradition is that a man would either, take the hat off, or if it's outdoors, they can't take their hat off, they will slightly lift the hat or touch the brim of the hat to gesture that, I am, saluting you, I'm saying hello to you, I'm acknowledging you. But for men, they don't get to keep their hats on when entering a closed venue, unlike women. So this is general rule when it comes to hat etiquette. In terms of the selection, what kind of a hat to wear, it has to, first of all, match your total look. So if your look is, a wool coat, you can't go for a straw hat. You have to obviously go for a wool or a matching kind of a hat that is, going to keep you warm, is decorating, goes along with your coat or your shoes or your formal wear. When it comes to, so first with your look, second for the occasion that you're going to. So if you're going, say, to a royal ascot, maybe a fascinator would be, or wide brim hat would be better than, say, a Panama hat or a beret. So you really have to make a choice depending on where you're going for the occasion. And obviously it has to always make sense in terms of the weather and the time, the season you're in. So wearing a wool hat, a wool fedora to say a beach, maybe will not be a good idea, or wearing a straw hat to some kind of event in winter or fall is also not a good idea. So you really have to make the decision based on what you're wearing, what season you're in, and where you're going. And it's interesting that with hats, I showed you some of my pieces, but it took me some time to try on different hats to understand what looks good on me, what frames my face better, what goes better with my hair color. So it's something you have to make a choice about by trying on different kinds of hats and styles and see what works for you. And definitely having a few hats in your collection is always going to really help you when you want to just quickly elevate a look without having to spend too much or without having to put on too much effort. Just throw in a hat and you're already looking a lot more sophisticated than if you were not to wear a hat. Thank you so much for watching this video until the very end. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, give the thumbs up, and please do let me know in the comment section below what are some more video suggestions that you have for me. I always love taking notes on your suggestions. And if you want to learn more about etiquette, you can get my books. They're available for worldwide shipment on my website. I'll link it here in the description box below. You can also join my pre-recorded online etiquette courses. One is called Western Formal Dining Etiquette from A to Z, that prepares you for everything you need to know for a formal dinner. And the second course is called The Art of Entertaining at Home, which comes with a book as well as an audio book. You can get whatever suits your taste more. And in that course, I'm teaching you how to set up a table according to 4 different seasons, how to do flower arrangements for the table, how to wrap different kinds of gifts. And if you want to learn even more in depth about etiquette, you can join my Patreon Etiquette Movie Club, where every month I do an etiquette analysis of different kind of movies. So far, I've done over 40 different movie analysis, from Hollywood to European to independent to the most classical movies. And by joining it now, you can view all those movie reviews that are exclusive for my Patreon community club. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!